we're a major stakeholder right next door, the seafront inn. No one consulted us that this is going to happen. Any of this, suddenly, where's the wall that would retain, that would keep privacy? It's going to affect it. But this is a systemic problem that has taken place for about 25 years within PG, long before I got here. Because when we had the chance, we did not put into place zoning to where we protected certain areas like the coastline and reserved it for businesses that are reserved for tourism and residency. I'm not opposed to business. Put in a fishing shop, put in a restaurant, put in a dive shop. No one's opposed to any of this. But I have an issue with this. And my issue is one, we haven't seen an environmental report. Where's Tide? Where is Tide? We're gonna have now 3 gas stations. If we get hit by a hurricane, how will we contain the toxic, the hazardous waste that is going to be released back into our marine system? But everyone screams the blues, and we stop spearfishing, we stop all kind of stuff out there, yet we are bringing in a major hazard, and we don't have the infrastructure in this town. And even if it's a man-made spill of gasoline, how will we contain it? How does Belize City come down here and tell us that our fire department can contain a spill of any kind? If a truck has spillage, these things happen. But if we get a catastrophic event on our seafront, we will have 3 major issues to deal with that we won't be able to deal with. This is a problem. We haven't done, I don't believe, where was this environmental report that I should be able to look at as a neighbor to it? If I want to dig a well, back a bush, I have to go through more than what these guys seem to go through. I have to make sure I'm 300 feet from any kind of waste system, that I'm uphill of it, that here suddenly we can just put a gas station wherever we want to put a gas station.
Why would you have so many gas stations? We got 6,000 people. Why in the world? Or maybe put one in the back, so then there's more access to the people back there, so then I have to come. So what we wanted to get from the mayor was to say, listen to me, how are you keeping us who've been here all our lives working and developing and want to continue that way? What, did you have us in mind? Maybe he did, but he has not been able to answer our questions. And he did say in his last post that he would be here, but yet he's not here. And so those questions remain unanswered.
These are like some concerns that people want to know. If this business, if it's a commercial, that's a commercial business, if the person or persons have applied for a trade license, right? Who is this developer? He is the mayor of this town. The people elected him to administrate, to run this town. You can't have somebody come into your town and you can't provide the name of the developer. You cannot say whether or not the developer has applied for a trade license. We cannot see the plans for this place. How will it impact the people who use this area socially and economically? We know that during the rainy seasons, at any time in the morning, that place is filled with people fishing for snook off there. The people of the town have a right to go fishing in that area, and it is because of the drainage that brings food for the fish in that area. How will this gas station affect that?
Well, I just like to say that, and I think that's why I am feeling so disappointed in the mayor right now, because when my father and I called, it was simply that we want to collect the facts. We want to know what is happening, as is due to us as people from Toledo. What is happening? It was never, it's been taken very personally, but the truth of the matter is we asked those questions because we want to know. We were not attacking anyone. We were not saying anything other than asking to please give us the facts. We hear all kind of thing. Is there a trade license? Has it been issued? And if it was issued, what was your rationale in issuing it, considering what it means to the town, not only to have something in an area that is right at the entrance of the town. Also, you have 2 miles and you have 4 gas stations in a town that I think has what, approximately 6,000 people. So, you know, it was really and truly the gathering here today was to say, you know what, we really want to find out what's happening. You as a person who represents us must have, if not all, most of the answers. I asked Mr. Reyes, I'm not sure if Mr. Reyes is here. He said he would come. He's also a part of the building authority. I also asked Mr. Caetano. He had originally agreed to be with us on Zoom because he's in Belmopan, but I got a call from him earlier saying that his higher ups, the people from I don't know what other ministry or departments felt that it wouldn't be good for him to be here, but that we could email our questions and he would answer them. Because apparently this is getting political, and I thought that was a cop-out on whoever's part instructed him to do so, because certainly for us this is not political.
I'll give you guys a little experience of mine as a mayor of this town, two terms. 2000, I was the mayor of this town. 2000, oh, Mr. Smith right over there. Mr. Smith came to me with a plan that we put at that dollar coin over there, and he had some people who would fund it, and if we agreed to find a spot. So I found that little spot there, which Mr. Mack claimed later on, and Mr. Smith and a guy from Canada, I don't remember his name, they erected the dollar coin, and we were in agreement with it, the council, because we thought it was something good for Punta Gorda. After that coin was erected and inaugurated, about 3 months later, Mr. Mack came to this town, contacted me right here at the office, and he said, who gave you permission to put this dollar coin here? This is a piece of my land. I said, well, I don't know if it's your land, but you would have to prove that. And if it's in your land, it is for the town. And I don't think anybody who has this town at heart would be so, don't want to give at least a 6 feet of their land to put this coin. He said, well, you got to pay me $50,000 for that piece of land. I said, well, you have to take me to court because I don't have money and I won't pay either.
Yeah.
So I tell him, in fact, it is my wishes, and I have contacted Prime Minister Den Musa to acquire this land from you and pay you the market value so that we may put a park here, because this whole area here, from PJ, that whole area don't have a park. The last park is Central Park. So a park would be ideal to put on that spot. And he said, no, well, if you want that place, you got to pay $1 million. I said, well, I don't know. Well, anyway, I had gone ahead and contacted Musa. And after that, well, I didn't run for my 3rd term, so I don't know what happened after that. But I'll tell you something else. I tried to stop and hold down the amount of Chinese that came into this town. The first one came, the second one came, I was the mayor. When the first one came, I was not. The second one, I was. I told the Prime Minister I would not give any license to any more Chinese because they would run our local businessmen out of business in this town. For instance, like Sopal and all these guys who had this grocery store. I could see this. I mean, this is just common sense. We can't compete with these guys. So I said, look, we got 2 here already. Let's leave it at that. No more. The 3rd man came and they applied for license, and they came to me and I refused to give them a license. So the Prime Minister called me about 2 months later. I said, you got to give them a license. I said, why should I have to give them a license? And I explained to him why I wouldn't give them a license. And they did take me to court, and they did win the case, because the same Belizean people who are working here, and I don't want to call their name, were taking bribes from these guys. And they all of them went against me in court. And even the Prime Minister himself that time, Musa. We must give these people license. And this is both political parties. We cannot pull no punch. I don't care which party. And that is what happened. The person got his license, and they keep on getting license and license. And all of us in PG know what happens when these people get license. And we know about the bribery that goes on. We know about the money that's passed under the table. We could see the authorities at their restaurant eating and drinking. That's all they're interested in. They're not interested in nothing else. So what I'm trying to say here is that we'll have a hard task to stop it.
Yeah,
but we can sure try.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah.
The question is, how did they get those certificates of that they passed? Because they have them. For the
Have you seen
engine,
them?
I haven't seen them. That's my
Okay,
question. I want to
nobody has
see.
seen them.
I want to see the
Nobody have been
reports,
able
the
to see them.
compliance report from the environmental. I want to see the compliance report from the fire department, because for the engineer to sign off, they have to have all those in place. And then it's not the engineer's issue. The engineer's issue, he just looks at the plans. If everything's been approved and says it has to be built to this code, then, and yeah, you have the plans to do it, sign off. It's not his fault. He's doing his job. It's an issue of how did they get the letter so fast? How did they get it approved so fast and shoved through and no one in our community knew?
Maybe, John, that's why the mayor's not here.
I don't
He
know.
should have been here. It's not just about gas station, it's not just about the store, the hotel, like the other one up there. If they do succeed and they do get going, then we have to get into the GST, the taxes, all the rest of it. Just like all these other stores in town, it's not a level playing field. And how much PG people have stores left now? How many years? How many years of being in business, if I was in business, to repay for some of those stores, the size of them stores? You know how make that money in PG? You think them gas stations will make that back that money, that investment? No, man. So what is going on? This is more than just an investment. There's no bottom line for these people. We have to work with bottom line. You know, make it regard the business. So it's a much bigger thing than just stopping these people. And it stinks because the mayor should have been here to answer these questions if he wants to defend himself.
Notice there's a strip of land between the hotel and the place that they're building on to now, and that strip of land is private property. Now tell me, how will that person live with with a gas station and all the other stuff?
I have my business. I remember when I was setting up, I had to go to BTIA with my plans. I had to come to the town council with my plans to make sure that we're on the same theme. And I wasn't developing at the level of a gas station. It could have been easy. A little consultation. We see the plan. We know what is going on. We must respect authority as well. The Belize Central Building Authority have the mandate to qualify these things or disqualify them. And we have representative here. So at some point, I think the mayor and his team should see fit to meet with the public and to talk and to consult.
The mayor has let us down. He said not to make it personal. He's the man who should have answered the questions. He said he'd be here. He wasn't here. He said he was going to put a stop order. He hasn't. Dennis, I don't know if you have any swing in these things, but he's starting to look bad.
He locked us out of the building.
He locked us out of the building. That's no way to behave, man.
Oh no, very unprofessional.
All we want to do is have some questions answered. So if the stop order is not on tomorrow, what is the next step?